A good player who loses at chess is genuinely convinced that he has lost because of a mistake, and he looks for this mistake in the beginning of his game, but forgets that there were also mistakes at every step in the course of the game, that none of his moves was perfect. The mistake he pays attention to is conspicuous only because his opponent took advantage of it. The system is about to be flipped upside down. Please keep your friends and family aware. Like, subscribe, share these videos. Please remember that this video is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor.
I also think that there's been more validation in the space when it comes to the regulators. So Brian Brooks at the OCC, Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, has basically said that public blockchains can be used for the settlement of transactions, and banks can become nodes on those public blockchains. Well, that was like a bolt of lightning. I just never expected it. And I don't think anyone else did either, except perhaps for some in the crypto world who were working closely with the regulators, which it clearly has been the case.
Brian Brooks, the active controller of the OCC, recently announced banks are able to settle with public blockchains. Cryptocurrency is another word for public blockchains like Bitcoin, XRP, and Ethereum. We are officially at a point where the US government has given the green light to the banks to settle in crypto. The debt is at a level of epic proportions, and there is now a threat of a liquidity freeze, when suddenly there are no sellers or buyers and thus no lending. Confidence is lost and the banks will refuse to transact with one another. Jim Rickards has called this liquidity freeze ICE 9. The dollar has been on a downwards trajectory, and I believe as the system freezes, the banks will be forced to settle in crypto assets.
That if you look at banks' working capital, today for a bank to make a cross-border transaction possible, they keep a very large amount of Nostro account balances in the beneficiary country. And this is in the tune of about $10 trillion. And this $10 trillion is capital cost. This $10 trillion is the depreciation risk with the treasury of the banks or the PSP that manage it, but that is again gets passed on to the customer, which accounts for the large portion of the 7%. And now with digital assets being present, what we are able to do is, instead of having those balances 24/7, 365 days a year, we are able to convert that 100 GBP into XRP. That XRP travels to Philippines and within few seconds gets converted into Philippine peso and gets the payout happens. That means hundreds of millions of dollars of trapped capital that earlier used to be in Philippines now doesn't need to be there anymore. And that directly has an impact on the 7% and it starts to go down. So for us, we are constantly thinking to say, hey, how do we make a business more efficient? How do we enable our partners around the world to, at a significant level and not at an incremental level, lower the cost of friction, the customer experience that they are facing today. And that's what we are doing on an everyday basis.
The financial system is stressed and the cracks are exposed. Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, and Jeremy Allure, CEO of Circle, hinted that the G7 has made a decision to shut down DeFi. Steve Mnuchin proposed the DeFi laws on the week of Christmas. Over the last few weeks, we have seen announcement after announcement regarding U.S. regulations. The regulations are surfacing and the price of crypto is appreciating. We are watching something transformational unfold. The chess pieces are positioned, and in one move, everything can change.
So again, big validation out there. Now, this is going to help the banks cut their costs, but we do think that stable coins, which this will promote, are simply they're a bridge to what we believe will be more of a disintermediation of banks. And we will see more almost direct to consumer and businesses from the central banking systems of the world. So
The XRP ledger allows users to create stablecoins or central banks to issue wholesale central bank digital currencies. The G7 is rolling out regulation, crypto is being revalued, the negative attention is on XRP. Crypto is in the spotlight, but don't look at XRP. There is no doubt in my mind that this is a setup.
Well, certainly we do know of central banks looking at the XRP ledger as open source technology to issue stablecoins using the XRP ledger. And that may happen. And frankly, it's open source technology. We don't even necessarily have to be involved with that. Now, as experts in using the XRP ledger, some of them talk to us and we try to be helpful. And we think that can be good for the overall dynamics in the XRP community.
Central banks have been looking at the XRP ledger to issue stablecoins. As experts in using the XRP ledger, some of them talk to us and we try to be as helpful as possible. The XRP ledger is an open source technology. It's a public blockchain for anyone in the world to use, and it was designed for interbank settlement. The central banks need the efficiency the XRP ledger provides to prevent a crisis from wiping out the financial system.
Know that. The challenge is that the U.S. share of the global economy has been reducing. The dollar share of payments, not just financial assets, but payments, a lot of payments between countries that have nothing to do with the U.S. are in dollars. And what happens in situations like we're in today, where the U.S. economy, to its credit, is relatively strong, is doing better, and the Fed has been doing the right thing, which is, they've adjusted policy, they tightened policy as it was strengthening. Now they're making, the Fed is doing the right thing, but they have adjusted and policy is relatively strong. That means rest of world policy is tighter than it needs to be. And that feeds back on the U.S. economy in a way that ultimately slows this economy. And it leads to a substandard outcome. And in a world where you only have limited policy space, it's a dangerous place to be. And so the trade issues we're talking about are reinforced by the structure of the monetary system. Now, you've asked a big question, so just give me a second to, but now the issue is, you don't just jump to something new overnight. And what we want in a multipolar world, I think we'd agree that we've got the European engine, we've got the Chinese engine, we've got the US engine of this economy. Multipolar world, you need a multipolar currency. The question is, how do you get there? And I laid out some ideas of how you would get there.
And the bottom line, Governor, is that all of the pressure on the difference in growth around the world would not fall on the dollar exchange rate. It would be spread out if it was a global basket of currencies.
It would be spread out. It was a global basket of currencies. It's better for the system as a whole. It's better. It raises that equilibrium level of interest rates.
Right.
It gives central banks more policy, but it gives people who are watching greater returns on their savings.
Well, certainly.
Mark Carney, the respected central banker, is speaking about a global synthetic hegemonic currency replacing the dollar. Mark Carney is not a Bitcoin maximalist or a conspiracy theorist, but instead he is a well-respected central banker that is the head of groups like the FSB, where he's invited to G7 and G20 conferences. He told the world that the dollar needs to be replaced with a digital currency. He did this at Jackson Hole on U.S. soil. He stated that the dollar as the reserve currency should be replaced. There is a future in public blockchains, and we are watching it unfold. Regulations, revaluations, institutional buying, partnerships, etc. I sincerely believe that this is not a speculative bubble like 2017, but believe that something is transpiring and this is the beginning. At this critical time, we are moving forward with the beginning stages of testing crypto assets. The dollar dominance is being unwound with digital currencies.
Getting back to Facebook, I had previously commented that I didn't think it was very well thought out because they talked about linking it to a basket of currencies, and being an ex-FX person, it made no sense to me. I think they've come a long way in their thinking, and clearly if you're a central bank or a government, you don't want to lose control of your money. But I think the solution is central banks working with private companies to come up with a new type of money.
David Rudder is the CEO of R3. R3 is a distributed ledger technology company that has partnered with the entire banking underworld. R3's Corda is the gold standard for DLT software and is accepted by governments and central banks around the globe. A global stablecoin is theorized as a basket of currencies, and David Rutter, the ex-Forex guy, does not think a basket of currencies makes sense. He believes the solution is for the central banks to work with the private sector to come up with a new form of money.
The world of investing is rapidly changing, and many will be left behind. The old system is dying, and cryptocurrencies are revealing themselves as the future of finance. Unfortunately, most American retirement accounts are still locked in with the old system. It's time to break your retirement account out of the old corrupt system and invest in the future. iTrustCapital is the world's leading crypto IRA platform, allowing investors to invest in cryptocurrencies while avoiding expensive capital gains taxes. If you want to learn more, head to iTrustCapital.com or click the link below to receive your free crypto IRA guide.
There's certainly a chill right now. Are other cryptocurrencies that raised and are active over the past couple of years, should they be worried?
Well, again, I think that in each instance, we're looking at it on a facts and circumstances basis, and I don't want to speak to any particular cryptocurrency, whether it's in litigation with us or not in litigation with us. But I think everyone has to look at the facts and circumstances. And that's why I have called for more clarity, because I actually think it can be difficult to determine whether something fits within the security bucket or not. And I think we could do more to provide some guideposts for what that would be, or as I've called for, a safe harbor, which recognizes, yes, there is a little bit of uncertainty, but if we can get these digital assets to a point in their life where it becomes much clearer which side of the line they sit on, I think everyone would be better off. So I'm hopeful that maybe that's something that we could actually get done in 2021.
The work that Ripple has done is vital in the next-gen financial system. The OCC is allowing banks to settle in crypto while the United States and the G7 are rolling out regulations. Crypto is appreciating in value and the volume is deeper. The SEC decides to sue Ripple. Why now? This lawsuit will provide clarity for XRP. The banks that wanted to adopt and utilize XRP will soon have clarity and the green light. With higher prices and higher volume, the more transactions can run through ODL. This is a setup, and we are blessed because we can see the big picture.
In time, but in the meantime, this is a very exciting development. Certainly is getting everyone to study and learn much more about cryptocurrencies, blockchains, other crypto assets. And from an innovation point of view, we think we have miles to go. This is just the beginning. And to put that in perspective, today, I believe Bitcoin's the equivalent of market cap or network value is a little over $700 billion. And many people with it having doubled from 20,000 to 40,000, those sound like huge numbers. Actually, it's only a little over 700 billion. What does that mean? Well, Tesla is over 800 billion. These are both very big ideas, some of the biggest ideas I have ever come across in my investing lifetime, which has been a long time. So I've been in the business more than 40 years. Couldn't be more excited about all of the innovation taking place now. Never seen anything like it. And I really do think some wonderful days are ahead for the exponential growth trajectories that are going to deliver superior investment returns, no matter what the environment is. We'll have to go through our ups and downs, and certainly with valuations where they are right now, I'm sure we're going to go through a doozy of a correction this year at some point. I don't know when, and I don't know why, but I do know It never hurts to take profits and to keep some powder dry so that you have the psychological wherewithal when the world seems to be falling apart to pick up on bargain basement prices, like the ones we got during the coronavirus.
The two most powerful warriors are patience and time. Leo Tolstoy. Thank you for watching, liking, and subscribing. Please remember to hit the bell. If you enjoy my work and wish to help support me, please consider joining my Patreon.